Here with us now for an update on the apparent Israeli retaliation against Iran is Alex Traiman. He's the CEO and Jerusalem bureau chief for Jewish News Syndicate. This is extremely important news here. Thank you for being here, Alex. According to the Times of Israel, Iranian state media have issued a subdued response, and in conjunction with that, the outlet points to a statement by Jerusalem officials to claim Iran doesn't want war, even if it threatened Israel if it retaliates. Will Iran risk war even after threatening Israel?
I don't think there's any way to predict exactly what Iran is going to do. It's definitely a 4D chess match that's taking place now between Iran, Israel, and Western powers, including the United States. Israel did attack in such a way where they leave some ambiguity, even though everybody understands it does come from Israel. But it was not Israeli F-35s using airspace of Jordan and Saudi Arabia, for example, but rather a glide bomb strike that took place from it originated from inside northern Iran, hit deep inside Iran, but did not target the nuclear facilities, did not target civilian installations, and gives Iran the opportunity to allow some ambiguity as to where the strike originated from, what damage it did, and perhaps give them the opportunity to step down the ladder and not risk a regional escalation.
Yes, that's exactly right. And here the scope of Israel's alleged retaliation reportedly appears to be limited. World leaders have put pressure on Israel and Iran to prevent a wider war. Have they been taking this into account?
Yes, I do think so. Israel's been taking this into account, even though Israel is under an obligation, I believe, to restore deterrence. Let's not forget that this war is being fought through Iranian proxies, in Gaza, in Lebanon, in Syria, in Iraq, in Yemen, and now Iran directly have all struck the state of Israel in the last several months and even in the last week. And so Israel has got to reestablish itself as a strong force here, has got to reestablish deterrence, but certainly mindful of a U.S. coalition, U.S.-led coalition that it hopes will establish very strong sanctions regime against Iran for what it did in its escalation.
Okay, next, Alex, what is the purpose of Israel's alleged strike, specifically that it was so deep inside Iran?
I think it sends a very strong message that Israel can strike anywhere it wants inside Iran. The Air Force base that it hit was very close to some of Iran's nuclear facilities. It's a signal that it can reach those facilities at any time. It's a signal that the Mossad is operating deeply inside Iran, that it was able to conduct a strike that originated inside Iran is also a major embarrassment and leaves people guessing as to what other installations, infrastructure Israel has inside Iran and where it could strike next.
Can you give us an assessment of the media landscape, specifically what Iranian state media are categorizing this all as?
Well, I think that the Iranian state media, which is an organ of the state and the Islamic regime itself, are trying to downplay the severity of the attacks. And I believe we don't really understand yet what was the full severity of the attack. But if they're doing that, it does indicate that Iran is maybe not as likely to retaliate, giving them an offer out for a regional escalation.
Well, it's great hearing your update this morning. Alex Traiman, the CEO and Jerusalem bureau chief for Jewish News Syndicate.
Thank you for having me.